How often are you uncomfortable at this job?
Every day, all day long. I'm more comfortable being uncomfortable. Like, it's never gonna stop. For me, it's being the best. I was always like fighting for my place at the table, and I feel like I need to be challenged to be the best.
And you're arguably operating at the highest level, and you're very, very successful, obviously.
I don't wanna lie to myself. When I say I'm gonna hit 100 deals, I'm gonna do it. I don't wanna settle for like 75. I wanna be the best on the team. I wanna be the best in the world.
On this week's episode of the Handsome Real Estate Podcast, we have longtime agent and acquisition specialist Jessica Speck, who is a savage. I've had the privilege of working with Jessica over the last 4 years and watching her blossom from an agent who was doing 8 to 12 deals a year to somebody who was closing in on doing 100 deals in 2026. So if you're an agent who's looking to be a killer and looking to close 50 plus deals a year, this is a must watch. So 4 years, right? So our journey started together on a podcast.
Yeah.
Right? Quick backstory. You were on the O'Neill team. Dan O'Neill calls me up and says, hey, you got to have this girl on the podcast. She fucking kicks ass. She's awesome. Not a lie.
Not a lie. Facts.
Yeah, not a lie. Brought you on the podcast. We totally hit it off. At the end of the podcast, you invited me to your wedding.
Yep.
I went, brought Amanda, and apparently we just found out that was a little over 4 years ago.
Yeah, July 8th, 2022. So 4 years ago, last July.
Yeah, and a lot has changed since then.
Yes.
It seems like a minute, yet a lot has gone on. What do you think are like the three biggest changes that have happened in your life over the last 4 years?
Okay, so obviously I had a daughter. I had to go through in vitro. I feel like that was a huge change because you have to be dedicated. You have to do the hormone shots. I had to do blood thinners, so I was taking injections every single day. You can't miss them. I bought a house, sold a house. I had to live with my parents for a year. My house burned down, actually. I could actually go on and on and on. I started working for Handsome Homebuyer. That was major. That definitely life-changing. It taught me so much stuff, not just like about sales and real estate, but like inwards as well. Mm-hmm. And now I'm at the Handsome Brokerage. You know, I feel like that just went up.
So that's a lot of action. When you don't think about it, 4 years goes by. I feel like when you're somebody who's really motivated, we always feel like we're behind and we should be doing better and we should be doing more. But then you sit down and actually recap it and you're like, that's a lot of shit that's gone on.
Yeah.
So when you said a lot has changed inward, what do you mean by that?
I feel like I used to I think I'm the best always, but I used to just believe it. And now I feel like I've been trained so well that I know that I'm the best. But like, it doesn't just happen like by thinking it. Like, I had to go through a lot of trials and tribulations. So if we think back, and we always bring this up, you know, not fighting to close deals hard enough, or having to go back to the Levittown guy's house, find his address, knock on a random door and be like, hey, I still need to close this deal, and him telling me get the fuck off of my stoop. And like that just making me a better person, you know, because now I know that you can't just let people say, oh, okay, I'll think about it. It's like, well, what do you have to think about? I thought you were the decision maker.
How often are you uncomfortable at this job? And
every day, all day long.
So, but over time, I mean, you've gotten a lot of reps in. Your goal for this year deal volume is what?
100.
Okay, so you're pumping. Like, you took the belt last quarter. Mm-hmm. This definitely could happen.
Yes.
And we're so proud of you because I've seen the evolution of you over apparently the last 4 years. Really, I feel like the last 3 years is when we really started working together. And I feel like that's never going to stop. It's going to keep going. But are you less uncomfortable now? Does it ever stop? Or you just become a little more comfortable being uncomfortable, as cliche as that sounds?
I'm more comfortable being uncomfortable. Like, it's never going to stop because you have to sit in these people's living room and be like, well, this is the number that we want to buy your house at. And then wait for them to say no. And then, well, why? Why? Like, I'm 5 years old. Why? You know, and like that never changes. But I don't feel nervous going into people's houses. You know, I don't feel nervous negotiating with them. But it is uncomfortable to give them an offer and say, this is what it is, or this is what your house is worth after they think it's worth $1 million or $900,000. And I'm like, I'm sorry, the best house in the neighborhood sold for $650. Mm-hmm. You know, it's an uncomfortable conversation. And a lot of times I'll lose retail deals like that because there's always an agent that will list the house for whatever they want. And then I'll watch it sit on the market for 6 months. And then 7 months, 8 months, I'll call them and I'll say, hey, what's going on? They're like, oh, well, the feedback is that it's priced too high. I'm like, okay, do you remember our initial conversation? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, well, what do you think about that now? And they're like, you were probably right. I'm like, okay, well, let's see what it actually sells for, and then we'll know who was right.
Do you ever feel like you'll become numb to the discomfort? Like you won't feel anything and you'll just sit there and it'll be totally casual? Or do you always feel you'll have this kind of like underlying feeling in your stomach of, oh God, this is awkward, but like this is what we do?
Yes. I mean, like at a certain point, like you are numb to it. Like there's a lot of situations that a regular realtor would go in and be like, this is too much. Like I gotta hang it up. And then there's people like me that just deal with crazy people. So I'm like numb to that. But you know, we're helping people move forward. You know, we're helping them out of a bad situation into a new one. So it's always a little bit uncomfortable because you like peek in to these people's lives where everybody's always like happy and joyful. A lot of real estate isn't that.
What do you think is the difference between a great salesperson and just a mediocre salesperson?
Telling them go to hell and they look forward to the trip.
Telling them to go down such a way they look.
Yeah, I always get it wrong, but it's, yes, that's it.
Well, that's a sign of a great salesman. Yeah, sign of a great salesman is someone that can tell you to go to hell in such a way you look forward to the trip.
Yes.
But as far as just like day in and day out work or methodology or approach, do you think, what's the difference between great salespeople and not such great salespeople?
I feel like you have to have an answer. You have to know everything. And like, it's so difficult to know everything. But somebody that can overcome every single objection to the point where they're like, I just don't like you. And then it's like, okay, so you just don't like me. That's the reason why you don't want to use me. As opposed to I have to ask my wife, I'm not sure if I want to do it right now or whatever. If you can overcome objections to a point where they have nothing else, where they're just like, okay, fine, I'll list the house right now. That is what, or I'll sell it to you right now, or I'll do whatever it is right now. That to me makes you a great salesman. Because if you just take the first no as your answer, you're never going to get the sale.
What do you think most real estate agents are doing wrong right now that they need to stop immediately?
Not following up. Like, people, you meet somebody on Friday, you think they're going to transact on Saturday, it's not going to happen. You need to touch people between 8 and 12 times before they even like want to work with you, or they give you a yes, or they find a house. In real estate sales, like I think it's people look at between 8 and 12 houses before they make a decision. Mm-hmm. It doesn't happen on the first one. If you give up on the first one, or you're like, oh, these people are never going to transact, they call Zillow and that person helps them and they buy that house.
What is real? Because I think people don't understand the definition of follow-up. What is the definition of follow-up by your standards?
I don't just call to say, hey, I'm just checking in to see, are you ready to sell? It's like, hey, remember last time we spoke, you were having some health issues or you had concerns about this or that. Like, what's going on? How's everything going? What's new? Whatever it is that we've built that rapport on, to ask them about that. And then after the conversation flows naturally, like, all right, where are you in the process? Are you any closer? No, I'm still thinking another 3 or 4 months. All right, I'll call you in another 30 days.
What do you think has been the biggest unlock for you in the last 3 years? Like something that happened or something you learned or something you experienced that just transformed your business and a light went on and you were like, this is a game changer, and it just opened up a whole bunch of doors?
Truly, I think follow-up has been my biggest unlock, because before I came to Handsome Home Buyer, I wasn't following up the way I am now. Like now I'm like religious about it. There's minimum 2 hours in my day where I call people. The CRM has been huge for me too, because I'm not guessing who to call. Like everybody is set on a calendar and it's, 20 to 45 people a day that I call. And some people aren't ready. Some people I met 18 months ago. I'm like pregnant. Or there was somebody we just got a retail deal from. I was actually pregnant when I met him. My daughter is 2.5 years old. And I call him, he asks about my daughter. He went away a couple times, like, how was your vacation? We bullshit here and there. He calls me while I was away in Aruba. And he's like, I'm ready to sell the house. I'm like, hey, I'm away. I'll be back on Monday. When can I come? 11 or 12? Like, what works better for you? And boom, there, took the retail, 5%.
Why do you think most agents don't follow up?
They're busy getting car washes. I don't know. I just think that they think they're busier than they really are. Like a lot of agents tell me that they're busy, and I'm like, doing what? Social media, that's great. It helps get you business. But if you're constantly doing things that aren't producing business, then you're not going to get any.
How's the last 3 years changed your perspective on real estate in as a whole? Because it sounds like you've changed like 180 degrees.
Yeah. I don't really know. I feel that I thought everything had to be like picture perfect, like going after the listings that are like great for Instagram or like great for what I thought was my business. Everybody needs help. It doesn't matter if it's like a mansion or a ramshackle. Like, people always need your help, and I think that's like the difference. Like, if you sell 500 houses at $200,000, better than selling 4 houses at $1 million. I just think that quantity over quality. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. Like, the more is better, even if they're not like the best.
Yeah, you need a healthy mix of business.
Yeah.
I think there's certain agents that fixate on, oh, I want the sexy Instagram house, I want the multi-million-dollar listing. But at the end of the day, fortunes are built on first-time buyer homes.
Yeah. And I think like that's the big difference. Like, I love to help first-time home buyers. I love to help my friends and my family find stuff, and it's very rewarding, especially if it's like, I can't really afford anything right now. I think I'm going to buy like a 1-bedroom co-op, and it's like $168,000. So you're not making a huge commission on that, but like, you do the best job that you can, and then they call you and say, hey, I'm ready to sell that co-op and buy my second house. Like, you helped me so much. I want to use you again. And it just happened. I helped a guy in the Bronx, like when I first started, before Mia was born. He just texted me the other day and was like, you were so helpful the first time around. We probably saw 40 co-ops. Like, it wasn't even worth the gas money, my commission check. And he was like, you were so helpful and so great the first time. I got married, this happened, that happened. I need to sell that unit, and I want to buy something bigger. Like, once we get a little bit more serious and like figure it out, I'm going to call you. Just want to give you the heads up. Like, that to me is the most rewarding thing.
Nice, that's cool.
Yeah.
So on the follow-up side, what was the thing or the moment that made you go from follow-up to you are a follow-up savage? Like, I walk by every day like clockwork, Monday through Friday, you're in the office. I walk by your desk and you have the headphones on, you're locked in, the phone's there, computer's open, CRM, and you're just hammering. Boom, 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 like a machine. And at this point, it's a symphony. Obviously, it's taking you 3 years to get to this point. I don't want people to think, hey, I'm just going to jump on the phone and be perfect.
No.
It takes practice. But what happened to make you think, all right, I have to sit here and I have to hammer 20 to 60 people a day, 5 days a week?
We've had a lot of meetings where you're like, gold is in the CRM, gold is in the CRM. Like, you can make money in your CRM. It's not about the appointments that are coming in. Like, there's a lot of past appointments. And I think probably for me, the first time that I followed up with somebody after 6, 9, 12, 18 months, whatever it was, and they're like, yeah, I'm ready to do the deal. And I'm like, damn, if I didn't call them every 30 days like clockwork, this money's not in my pocket.
How much more business do you think you're doing as a result of the constant follow-up?
I would say probably like 25% more business. I think a quarter of my business is like past deals that I've gone on.
Yeah, I mean, what do you say to agents who are out there who feel like, there's a lot of agents that are out there who think, if I don't get them on the first shot, like they don't believe in follow-up. They think if they don't get them on the first shot, most likely they're not going to transact.
I would ask them, how many people did you get on the first shot? How many people did you lose? What does it look like? Because now, like, I feel like I'm so, like, dialed into it. It's like, what does it look like if all the people that you didn't get on the first shot, you got on the third shot, or the fourth shot, or fifth shot? Like, what would that do for your business?
How do you feel about data?
I used to hate it because I'm like, I don't need, like, a robot telling me this is how many deals and beep, boop, beep, bop. But after you look at it enough and you're like, damn, that's how many appointments I went on. That's how many I converted. That's like what my percentage is. Like, that's how many I closed. Like, it makes what you want to do that much easier. Like, if you're like, okay, I need to go on 500 appointments to know that I'm going to close 100 deals. Because if I do 2 deals a week for the whole year, like, if you break it into bite-sized pieces, it's information I would have never known if I didn't, like, dial into the data. Like, we obviously have, our sales manager that teaches us about that a lot, like, probably more than any normal person. But if he didn't show me how to make things, like, into bite-sized pieces so that they're actually attainable, I probably wouldn't be, like, the animal that I am. Because now I, like, look for it every week. He sends an email at, like, somewhere between 5:45 and 6:15. It is the absolute first thing in the morning that I look at. And when he doesn't send it, I text him. I'm like, hey, where's my numbers? I don't know if he gets mad or if he loves it, but then he'll say, as per Jessica's request this morning, here
I'm sure
it is.
he loves it.
Yeah.
I'm sure he
He's
does.
turned me into an animal. Because now it makes things like much easier to comprehend. Like I know how many appointments I need to go on to get how many accepted offers that will convert into how many solds to make the number that I want for the year actually happen.
Do you think most agents are missing that in their day-to-day?
Yeah, because I don't think most agents know how many appointments they have to do. I don't think that they have a goal in mind. Like they may have like a monetary idea, but it's like, okay, I want to make $250,000 this year. Okay, great. How? Like, how are you going to do that? How many appointments do you need to go on? How many of those appointments have to go under contract? There's always going to be a fallout. Like deals are going to die. How many appointments need to close for that to happen? Start working backwards. Okay, well, I have to go on at least 4 appointments a week or 5 appointments a week to make sure I get 1 under contract and then 1 accepted offer, whatever, so on and so forth. Because if you don't know, then how can you achieve those goals?
So you're operating at the highest level. Your goal is to do 100 deals this year, which is insane. I mean, that's like top 0.0001% of agents. On the acquisition side, it's very, very rare. And I would argue that New York is the hardest place to do this.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen pictures of you charging into places that are filled with garbage, mattresses saturated in blood, some giant 6'4" man, towering over you.
And we're laughing.
And yes, he is laughing with you, but it's just, New York is a very, very, very difficult place, and you're arguably operating at the highest level, and you're very, very successful, obviously. At this point, what keeps you motivated?
For me, it's being the best. I have 2 brothers. I was always like fighting for my place at the table, and I feel like if you get complacent, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna do it. I'll be the best. If you're not like fighting to be the best, like within your company or your team or whoever, like who's challenging you? Like I feel like I need to be challenged to be the best, and that's what drives me. Like even with me and my husband, like sometimes, like just to say, like we're cooking. It's like, oh, well, mine's better than yours.
So, I mean, is this something that you were born with, that you've just always been like that? Or is this something that you feel has developed over the last 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years?
I think at some point in my life, I was like always like this because I have a twin brother. So it's like, there's always 2 of me. It's not just your birthday, it's our birthday. So, there's 3 of us. You're always fighting for attention. So yeah, I think that at some level, not the way I am today, because that, I don't know, that you built that. That's your fault. But yes, I think I was always kind of like that. Like I always did want to be the best. And I've changed brokerages a couple times, because I didn't feel like I was doing the best or had the best opportunities. And when I saw something that I felt like could challenge myself, like originally when I went from wherever I was, maybe KW to the O'Neill team, I said, I want to be better at social media. I want to really like unlock that to my friends, family, whoever, people to see me and want to work with me. Went to the Dan O'Neill team. There was months where I did over $1 million in revenue. And then like once you're like, wow, I'm like this good, it's like, okay, well, I want to be better. I want to be the best on the team. I want to be the best in the company. I want to be the best in the brokerage. Like it doesn't stop. I want to be the best in the world.
How has the sales training changed you in business? And then how has the sales training changed you in your personal life?
Okay, so in business, before I would kind of take no for an answer. I'd be like, all right, maybe you're not ready now. It has changed me into asking more questions because people don't always tell you why right away. And now I know to ask, like as Eric likes to say, the 5 whys. Well, why? Or how does that happen? Or what made that happen? Because people don't just give you information freely. You have to like drag it out of them. And then even at home, I torture Nick because I'm like, why? And he's like, God damn it, because I said so. And now I know why parents say that all the time, because they just don't want to give you an answer.
Oh man, do you feel at this point it's ingrained in who you are?
Yeah, there's times where people are talking to me and I'm like, don't ask them why. Don't ask them why. Certain times, like having a regular conversation with me, and somebody says something, and the first thing I'm like, ask them why, or ask them how come, or why they did that, or what happened. And I'm like, just don't say anything.
I think one of the most valuable things of working here is the sales training, because we've been very lucky that we all got that education from Steve the Electrolux vacuum cleaner, vacuum cleaner salesman back in the day. How would you, to agents that are out there that are considering working with us, or just agents in general that are out there who think they know how to sell, how would you describe our sales process, the sales training, and how effective it is?
I feel that the sales training really makes you look inward. So a lot of times you don't know what you're doing wrong because nobody's told you. If, say, for example, we're talking about a scenario where I didn't get the deal, and you're like, why didn't you get the deal? I'm like, I don't know. They said they weren't ready. Why weren't they ready? And you're like, ask me this question. I don't have the answers. I'm like, oh, I don't know. It makes you think to yourself, wow, I really went on that appointment and didn't do the best I could possibly do because I didn't ask the right questions, or I didn't know to ask. In the beginning when we first started, you think you're doing a great job, and then all of a sudden you come and you start asking me, what happened, why things went sideways, or like showing me what I could have done better or what I could have asked. And then the next appointment I go on, I ask, and then I get that deal. And it's like, wow, like imagine if I would have been doing that for the last 5-8 years I've been in business, like how much better I would have been. But it's like every day I get a little bit better and I do more business, and, I thrive personally and professionally. And it's like, how is that happening? Sales training.
So what's the feeling like when you get the deal?
Well, it's exciting because, I have a huge goal, and it's like, okay, one more. And I'm like, I could really reach 100 deals.
So was there ever a time where you said to yourself, I don't know if I can do this anymore. It's too hard. It's too much. It's too intense.
Yeah, probably like once a week. No, I mean, listen, real estate it could be like feast or famine. So there's always times where it's like mentally exhausting. A lot of people have a lot of personal issues, and like you're not just their realtor, you're like their shoulder to cry on, or like their divorce attorney or their therapist or whatever. And it could be very mentally exhausting. And I'm like, I have nothing left when I go home. And then there's days where like, wow, I've really helped that person. I really helped them get to wherever it was that they're going, and it's very rewarding. So it's just an emotional business, and I feel like there will always be days where you're like, damn, how much longer can I do this for? And then there's days where like, wow, I couldn't see myself do anything else.
But overall, even when it's going horribly wrong, could you see yourself doing anything else?
No, I think about it sometimes. I'm like, maybe I could just move somewhere and just like go work at a coffee shop. And then I think to myself, like, for example, I was in Aruba a couple weeks ago, and I was bored. And it's like, wow, you're so lucky you get to go to Aruba. You're bored. I'm like, I just wasn't challenged, so I don't think I could do anything else, because I think that like being challenged in like my everyday work life helps me be a better person. It helps me like be more creative and, thrive professionally, do better every single year. Like it's not just, I don't know the best way to describe it, but it's not just like one thing. Like you get better every single day. You get better every single year. You do more deals than the year before,
What do you think the biggest misconception with agents is that they feel is converting into business for them that's actually not?
I'm going to say social media. Like there's some people that do it great and it does convert really well for them. And then there's some people that think that they could just do TikTok trends and it's going to do it. Like you need to, when I first got in the business, I had a partner or like a mentor that told me like you have to have an even spread of things. Like you can't just keep posting just solds, like you lose your audience. Like people have to feel connected to you. So, I post about my daughter, I post about my family, about like my friends, my outside life. And then it's like me looking at a house, or me, I just listed something, and then people are like, oh, you're a real estate agent. Like we're very similar. I have kids. Like I'd like to work with you. If you're just posting, like, I don't want to use the word stupid, but like stupid TikTok trends, it's not, how is that real estate related? Like that's not going to be what gets you things. Like I feel like being authentic on the social media and actually like posting things that will convert to business is great, but it can't be your only way to convert business. I think people think, oh, I'll be a realtor and I'll just post on social media and business will come.
If someone's a new agent, what do you think is the most effective way for them to go about building a business?
Going to your friends and family. You already have a Rolodex of people that have bought or sold before, know plenty of people. Like if you go to your friends and family and you're like, hey, can you help me get one deal? You know, do you know anybody? You know, you don't have to ask them personally, but you know, friends and family should want to help you out if they're your true friends and family.
Can you think about a time that you did that you went to family or friends and you said, hey, listen, this is my goal, this is what I'm looking to do, I would appreciate referrals, and it worked out? And how did that happen?
My very first listing. So I had a girl that, and we're still very good friends to this day. She was in my wedding. So I had a girl that I was friends with. We used to work at a pizzeria together. I worked at nightclubs and all of these things. And I told her, I want to get into real estate. Like, I'm really trying, you know, do you know anybody? And she was like, listen, my parents have to sell their house in Floral Park. I'm like, do you think that they'd let me list it for them? She's like, I'll talk to them. She did. They were my first listing ever in Floral Park. My partner came on with me, the guy that I had originally started this business with. And, you know, he ensured obviously everything went right, but I did every single open house. I remember being so excited about writing the listing description and like showing it to him and be like, what do you think? And, you know, we got them a great offer. I drive by the house all the time. I'm like, that was my first listing.
If you could look back now, obviously 3-4 years into it, hundreds of deals in, is there anything you would change?
No, because I think even your worst real estate experiences teach you about your business. So like your worst, hardest clients teach you about your business probably better than any like easy deal ever would, because it shows you like holes in your business. So I've had every single deranged client from A to Z, whatever it is, and they show you a lot. Like if you're not following up with buyers, you'll know immediately, because if they're in trouble, what happened with that showing? What happened with that showing? Instead, you should be telling them, hey, this is what happened at that showing. So like it shows you're not following up, or you're not keeping in touch with your clients enough, and like doesn't make for a happy client. You know, you have to learn these lessons to be better.
For someone who's looking to do 20 deals a year, how many hours a day, a week do you think an agent should be working in order to generate that kind of business?
40 hours. Like you need to treat this like a real full-time job. You get out of it what you put into it. And I think like that's why there's such a misconception about real estate agents, because like the joke on, you know, social media is that they're getting car washes or they're doing this, that, the other thing. You need to be working all day, every day. Like I have a calendar set up. So I have, you know, my follow-up time built into that calendar. I have appointment times built into that calendar. I'm working, you know, 8-10 hour days every day. Saturday, like I'm still working on Saturdays. Like I don't get to take a day off, you know. I've decided no more Sundays just to keep my marriage happy because if not, we'll never see each other. But you have to treat it like a full-time job. And I think that a lot of people get into real estate and they're like, oh, I'll do a couple transactions a year and I'll be good. How do you get to those transactions? Like if you're not calling, following up, door knocking, doing open houses, you know, like you have to work.
What do you think is the biggest thing that agents struggle with?
Follow up. Like hot leads. You know, I think like everybody's chasing like a hot lead, and you don't realize that like the colder leads are probably going to be the ones that transact and or give you more business. So, you know, somebody that you do a one-off, let's just say I get lucky and I meet somebody and they're like, can you show me 123 Main Street? And I show it to them. They like the house. We get the accepted offer. I write it up. Boom. See them at the inspection. See them at the closing. They're probably not going to refer me. As a person that I spent 6 months dredging through 16 offers, how many inspections, this, that, the other thing, and they're like, wow, you really worked for me. My mom needs to list her house. I know that you worked so hard for me. I want you to help her.
So at this point, you're at the highest level pretty much, but you're always striving for more. What do you want the next 3 years to look like?
I always think about that because I'm like, you know, where do you go? You know, like, do you get off the break? Do you not? Like, I love what I do and I don't want to see anything change, but I feel like I still need to dial in more and like get more precise with everything that I'm doing because my time is so valuable. Like I'm going to have a second kid soon. Like everybody has the same 24 hours. Like it doesn't change. I have to be able to spend time with my family, spend time with my husband, take care of my kids, still work 40 hours, still like crank out every single deal and appointment and everything. So it's like just become, even more precise, like with the things that I do business related. Like if I don't need to do something, like, can I delegate it? Can I ask somebody for help? Like feeling comfortable asking for help.
So obviously, we love you. We're super proud of you. We've seen you grow over the last 4 years immensely. And it's interesting because, every time I'm like, oh, Jess is a killer. She's at, the top of her game. I feel like there's another level of like unlock where I'm like, well, now Jess is really on her game. And it's very exciting to see you grow through all that. I remember like a year ago, like Jess is an animal, she's on top of her game. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, maybe in the last like 3 to 6 months, I'm like, I don't know what happened, but Jess is on another level. And is it the competitiveness within the office? Is it you competing within yourself?
I think for me, like probably within that last 3 to 6 months is like really dialing down on my time. Like that's what I think changed for me, and like making sure that every minute counts. Like I have a babysitter. I have to be home by 4 o'clock to get her. So I need to and she comes at 10 a.m. So I need to make everything from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. count as much as possible. So that's go on the appointment, bam, straight back to the office, hit my calls. There's so many people I need to talk to in a day to make sure, and also breaking down my numbers to make sure that it's like, okay, this is really attainable. And it's like every time I get a little bit closer, I'm like, I'm right there. We're in month 8. I've got 4 months to go to hit my goal. Like if I don't do it, what does that look like? Like we talked about, when you lie to yourself, and I don't want to lie to myself. Like I want to say to myself, when I say I'm going to hit 100 deals, I'm going to do it. I don't want to settle for like 75. It's a great number, but no, I have to make my time really, really count.
So I think that's a perfect segue. So if there's anybody out there that's looking to buy or sell to help you hit that 100 number in the quest to 100 in 2026, how do they reach out to you? How do they get a hold of you?
You can DM me, More Home Sold, MOHR. You can call me, 516-305-3110. You can email me. I check my emails 500 times a day, jessicaspeckrealty@gmail.com.
Awesome. I appreciate you. Super exciting. Can't wait to see how the year ends up. I feel like you might be taking the belt in Q3 and Q4.
I better. I really better.